Hello, my loves. I'm so happy to be here today with you. My name is Ann with Ann Healing, and I am here to teach you how to help heal yourself so you're not constantly relying on an energy healer because it's available to you for free. So today we are going to talk about the Lion's Gate, and the Lion's Gate is something that's only come up for me recently, and it's very strange. It's very interesting. So when people talk about big events, they're usually talking about big astrological events. It's something that is, oh, these planets are aligned, these planets are here, these are doing that. This is how this is reacting, right, in astrology. So if you're familiar with astrology, you go, oh my goodness, somebody goes, oh, this is a big year. An astrologer says, this is a big year. And the Lion's Gate's a little bit different. The Lion's Gate is a set day every year, 8/8. And it happens every year, and it's more of an astronomical event than an astrological one, which really opened my eyes this year, the difference between the two and like why both are important. So it's not one versus the other. But the astronomical event it has to do with Sirius, and Sirius is the dog star. And why are we even talking about the Lions Gate? So the Lions Gate, so I'll tell you in a second. The Lions Gate is when on 8/8, Sirius is right above the pyramids of Giza, and the sun is in Leo, and it's the middle of Leo season. So there's all these like different kinds of energies associated with that. And so the pyramids, from what I can understand, the pyramids are more of an energy channel for us. And they bring in the energy. And so when the Sirius is right above that pyramid, it channels the energy of the brightest star into the earth, right? So I was thinking about this only because in the last week, I had 3 people in 2 days say, hey, are you being affected by the Lion's Gate? And I was like, what is the Lion's Gate? And it was very surprising to me that it even existed, and I didn't know about it for years. But every year, I would have this drive to do this meditation where I would just not meditation, an exercise. So it was an abundance exercise, and it's always like in August. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to do this right now, which is interesting because on August 1st is when kind of the energy starts to build, and then it peaks on the 8th, and then the next full moon is when it kind of starts to fizzle out. So I thought this was very interesting because that is the time frame when I was drawn to do this exercise every year in August. And it's basically like you write down every day, you write down an amount that the universe gifts to you, and then you kind of spend it. And then you go, okay, where would I put this money? Where would I put that money? And so typically you start with $1,000. And then the second day is $2,000, and the third day is $3,000. But you still have all of the money from the days before if you had spent it or put it into certain places. And so it's kind of like a mental exercise of, if I randomly got $5,000, what would I do with it? And I don't think we ask ourselves that question enough, because if I said, hey, the universe just gave you $5,000, what are you going to do with it? Do you have an immediate answer? Or if the universe gave you $100,000, do you have an immediate answer of like, oh, this is what I would do? Not typically. For a lot of people, it's like, well, I have this bill, I have that bill. And then you get to the end of your bills and it's like, well, now what? And so the point of that exercise is to increase your mindset around, it's okay for me to have more money than what I have right now, or it's okay for me to have more money than I need to pay off my debts. What would I do with that? How would I handle that money? Um, so every year, this was an exercise I would do in August, and it was just like something I was like, I have to do this. Um, and then about the middle of August, I just forget about it and I wouldn't come back to it for another year. Um, this year was a little bit different for me. So what I've learned about the Lions Gate is it's affected people very physically this year. And I think that's because there's a lot of other stuff that's going on in the astrological world this year, where people are being called to dry, open, release, 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 let go of things, because there's just a lot of other stuff that's going on, which would take me like hours to explain. But it's just a really big year. Since 2020, everything's been astrologically kind of insane. Um, in the last time I remember there being a major astrological event or a situation like this, and probably it was a little bit not quite as big as this even, was back in, I think it was 2014, 2013, 2014. There were some pretty significant astrological things going on there. Now, anyways, this year has been a wild ride, astrologically speaking. So I feel like this year, a lot of people are noticing the Lionsgate more than they have in years past. I had a friend of mine who got physically ill. I've heard stories of people like their bank accounts just zero for some reason, and it's like they're not worried about it. And things uh, like for me, this one actually surprised me. Um, I was very tired, like in my body, tired all week. It was hard for me to move around. I wanted to just kind of lay down, but it wasn't like it was foggy in the center of me. Everything in the center was clear, but it was just like in my body, and it was really lethargic and all of that kind of thing. And I had like this whisper of a headache that just, I couldn't explain it. It just wouldn't go away. And it didn't hurt. It was just like this little, oh, right, I forgot I have that headache. It's still there. So that has been interesting for me. And I imagine that for a lot of you, you are feeling like that too. You're feeling something kind of crazy happening. Um, and a lot of people have been asking me, like, what do I do on the 8th in order to really take advantage of this Lion's Gate? And the true answer I can give you is, number one, like on the day, just honor it. Do something small, do like a little candle meditation, or, whatever you're feeling drawn towards. And number two, recognize that you're going to have massive clearings during this time. And feel crazy. So anything that's not serving you is just going to leave. And sometimes it's fairly traumatic to have massive clearings like that. Like, this is like, it's the space of like, this is not good for me and it's going to go, but there's so many things that's coming out that's not good for me that are just going to go all at once. And it's like, which way is up? So just be gentle with yourself and recognize that there is a very, very significant shift happening in your body and in your energy. So when we're talking about relationships, people who are not serving you are just going to leave your life. When you're talking about your health, like parasites and bugs and stuff like that, that might be not serving you now, and maybe they were doing something, all of this may have been serving you in the past in some way, shape, or form. It's not like, oh, this is the time that all the bad things are going to leave me and I'm going to be just good. It's everything that's no longer serving me is just leaving at once. Because you're up leveling your energy here. When you do that, stuff happens, your life shakes up. Money that was acquired at a lower frequency is going to just be gone, and that's okay, because you're making space for the new. Because the other theme of this is the harvest. So Lionsgate is very much about abundance. and about feeling like royalty and all of those things. But before you can step into your next highest self, before you can feel like royalty, you have to let go of the things that are not associated with you feeling like royalty, with you feeling valuable, with you feeling important. So the days leading up, just clear, 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 clear. And then on the day of, just kind of invite in whatever it is that you feel like is good for you to do, to invite that in. And then don't worry about it. At the end of the day, it's really important to just stop worrying. Worry is the thief of joy. So just allow yourself to experience it without kind of going, well, maybe I didn't do this right. Maybe I didn't do that right. Just focus in on being present, enjoying the moment, recognizing when things are no longer serving you, letting them go, and, create ceremony, create any kind of ceremony that you want to have for that day. And I have a feeling that the days leading up to the 8th, so we still have 2 more days now, it'll be a clearing phase. And then on the 8th, it'll be an ascendance phase. So you'll feel like you're growing and growing from the 8th until the full moon, which I think is around the 13th, 14th. So you have time to be in your power. You have time to really jump in. You don't need to go crazy, but just recognize that if you feel like stuff's happening, you're like, I don't know what's going on, this is why. All right. So I'm going to pop off here, but if you have any questions or comments, please leave a comment below. Love comments. And get yourself on over to jenhealing.com and sign up for the email list. And that's about it. And I love you so much. And I am so looking forward to connecting with you again.